Hello, friends. Today we're going to talk about a really interesting topic. Do you think world politics is messy? When I looked at the news I just read, I honestly said, wow. Are you ready? Let's get started. Now, friends, let's start with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The guy went to China for the first time in 8 years. Think about it, 8 full years. Since 2018, no British Prime Minister has gone to China. Why? Because relations have been pretty tense. So why did Starmer go now? Simple. Money. Well, more accurately, the economy. He took 50 business people with him and basically told them, look, you're making history here. We're coming for the first time in 8 years, and every agreement, every deal will benefit our people. But wait, of course, it's not that simple. You're probably asking, so what was all the tension about? Friends, there are 3 big issues. First, the Hong Kong issue. China restricted freedoms in Hong Kong, and the UK was very angry about it. Second, the Ukraine war. China is supporting Russia behind the scenes, and the UK is obviously uncomfortable with that. Third, espionage. British security services constantly say China is monitoring our politicians. So relations were really bad. But now, something is changing. Now here comes the real bombshell. There's also Trump involved in this. Yes, that Trump. Do you know why Starmer rushed to China? Because the Trump administration is so unpredictable that European countries have started thinking we should open some other doors for ourselves too. Look at what Trump has done. He threatened to take Greenland. He criticized the UK's Chagos Islands agreement. He told NATO allies, you ran away from the war in Afghanistan. He told the Canadian Prime Minister, if you make a deal with China, I'll put a 100% tariff on you. The guy is basically stirring chaos everywhere. Now you're thinking, so what will Starmer do? Will he upset Trump? This is where Starmer walks very carefully. He says, we have very close relations with America in defense, security, and intelligence, but we can also trade with China. So he's trying to balance both sides. He says, I'm a pragmatist, a sensible British pragmatist. But let's see what Trump will say to that. Now, there's another interesting point. Starmer was very cautious on some issues. Will he mention jailed media tycoon Jimmy Lai in Hong Kong? We don't know. Will he ask China to stop Russia? He didn't say that either. Will there be a visa-free travel agreement? He only said, I hope we make some progress. So he's not showing his cards. Honestly, it's a smart move. Now, friends, the real drama begins, the Greenland issue. Trump wants Greenland. Yes, you heard that right. He wants to buy the island. Do you know what the Prime Minister of Greenland said? He went to Paris, met with French President Macron, and the Danish Prime Minister was there too. They said, look, Trump, we have red lines. But, yes, they said, but, because Russia is making dangerous moves in the Arctic. The Prime Minister of Greenland said, because of Russia's current behavior, we also need to take more security measures. And honestly, he's right. Russia has reopened and modernized dozens of military bases in the Arctic from the Soviet era. Half of the Arctic landmass already belongs to Russia. So what does the Danish Prime Minister say? Fredriksson was very clear. The world order has changed forever. We don't know what will happen in Washington in the future. Europe must become stronger. But pay attention, she also said something smart. We must act together with America, because Russia does not want peace. If Russia wins in Ukraine, they won't stop. So the message is this. Yes, Trump's behavior is strange, but we shouldn't completely lose America. Macron also said at the meeting, Russia's stance in the high north and China's economic presence, considering these, we must strengthen our defense in the Arctic. France supports increasing NATO's activities in the Arctic. Macron said, we're ready. Now, friends, there's a very important point here. Pay attention. Fredriksson said, I think Europe has learned some lessons in the past few weeks. What lessons are these? Europeans actually agree with each other. They can stand up to Trump's demands. They are strong if they act together. But let's not forget this. Trump pulling back his tariff threats and saying he won't take Greenland by force has calmed things down a bit. But how much, only time will tell. Now, friends, let's look at the big picture. The UK, uncomfortable with Trump, moving closer to China but trying to keep the balance. Denmark and Greenland protecting themselves from Trump's threats, but the Russian threat is real, so they don't want to completely break with America. France trying to lead Europe, saying, "We must be strong." China sending the message, "Look, world, we are a stable and reliable partner." Russia expanding in the Arctic, fighting a war in Ukraine, pursuing its own goals. So what happens next? There are a few scenarios. Scenario 1, the UK makes economic deals with China, Trump gets angry and tensions rise. Scenario 2, Europe unites, strengthens its own defense and becomes less dependent on America. Scenario 3, Trump somehow calms down and everyone breathes a sigh of relief. But this doesn't look very realistic. Friends, this is how complicated world politics is. On one side, China, on the other, America, on the other, Russia, and Europe stuck in the middle. Everyone is trying to protect their own interests. Do you know what the most striking point is? The Trump factor. The guy has just started his term, but he's already turned all the balances upside down. Countries have started asking, can we really trust America? And of course, the Russia factor. In the Arctic, in Ukraine, there's a threat everywhere. What do you think? Can Europe stand on its own feet? Can the UK get along well with both America and China? Will Trump forget the Greenland issue? I'm waiting for your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel, because while world politics is changing this fast, we need to stay on top of it. See you in the next video. Take care of yourselves.